Imagine a new kind of global race. It's not about getting to space first, but about leading the world in artificial intelligence, AI. And it's happening right now. The United States has just laid out its big plan to win. Welcome to the deep dive. We unpack complex stuff to get you informed fast. Today we're digging into America's AI action plan. It's this detailed document from July 2025 laying out the U.S. government's whole strategy for AI, our mission. To really understand what this plan wants to do, and maybe more importantly, why it matters to you.
Yeah, that's a good way to frame it. This isn't just some dry policy paper. It's presented as, well, a really grand vision. President Donald J. Trump calls AI a force that's going to, and I'm quoting here, reshape the global balance of power, spark entirely new industries, and revolutionize the way we live and work. So
Wow.
the administration sees it as absolutely critical for national security,
Yeah.
for the U.S. to keep its tech lead, like a new space race, basically.
And the language they use is, well, it's pretty bold. They're talking about winning this AI race, leading to a new golden age, like an industrial revolution, information revolution, and a renaissance all rolled into one. That's a huge claim.
It really is. And to make that happen, the whole strategy rests on three main pillars, as they call them. First, accelerate AI innovation.
Okay.
Second, build American AI infrastructure.
Right.
And third, lead in international AI diplomacy and security.
Right. And it's useful to know the background here. This plan is a very clear shift from how the previous administration approached AI. The current view is that the old way had too many, quote, onerous regulations, things that could slow down innovation.
Exactly. So there's a really strong push for speed and, well, progress in this plan.
Okay, let's unpack that first pillar then. Accelerate AI innovation, fueling America's edge. What's the main idea here?
The core goal is pretty straightforward. Make sure America not only has the most powerful AI systems, but is also the absolute best at using them in new, game-changing ways across everything.
So it's about creating the environment for that.
Pretty much. It's fundamentally about creating an environment where, private companies can innovate with fewer obstacles, as few as possible, it seems.
So when they talk about speeding things up, how are they planning to cut through that red tape?
Well, the plan is explicit about removing what it calls red tape, essentially rules seen as excessive for AI development. For example, they actually canceled the previous administration's big AI executive order.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they felt it was too burdensome. It even hints that federal money for AI projects might be held back from states if those states have too many of their own restrictive AI rules.
So for you listening, less regulation could mean faster access to new AI tools. But it also kind of shifts the question of who's responsible for safety when things move that fast.
That's a key tension, yeah.
And tied to that innovation push is this really interesting bit about free speech in AI. What's that about?
Ah, yes, this part is fascinating and complex. The plan puts a lot of emphasis on AI systems being built with freedom of speech in mind. It says they should reflect objective truth, not social engineering agendas or top-down ideological bias.
So trying to make AI neutral.
That seems to be the aim, preventing AI from pushing specific political viewpoints or social doctrines. And they're taking concrete steps,
Like what?
like revising guidelines from NIST, that's the National Institute of Standards and Technology, to remove terms like misinformation, DEI, and climate change.
Wow, okay.
And government contracts for buying AI models would actually require developers to prove their systems are objective and free from ideological bias.
But how feasible is that? I mean, isn't AI trained on human data, which is full of bias?
That's the massive technical challenge, exactly. AI learns from the data we give it. If the data has biases or just different perspectives, the AI learns them. Defining and achieving true neutrality or objectivity. Well, that's incredibly difficult, maybe impossible. Developers basically have to make choices about what objective even means. And interestingly, the plan also mentions checking Chinese AI models to see if they align with their government's views. So it acknowledges bias exists elsewhere.
Right. Okay, another part of this innovation pillar is supporting open source AI. The plan really encourages open source and open weight models. Can you break that down?
Sure. So open source, you probably know, means the underlying computer code is freely available. Anyone can see it, use it, change it. Think of it like a community recipe book instead of a secret family one.
Okay, got it. So what's open weight then?
Open weight goes a step further. It means the trained AI model itself, the thing that's learned from all the data, its brain essentially is also available.
Ah, so you don't have to do the super expensive training part yourself.
Exactly, that's the key. Training these big models costs a fortune and needs huge computing power. Open weight lets startups, researchers, anyone build on top of a powerful existing model. The plan wants to help them get access to the needed computing power too, maybe even creating new markets for it.
Interesting. Okay, and the last piece of this innovation section is about workers.
Yes, empowering American workers. The Trump administration calls it a worker-first AI agenda. The core belief stated is that AI will mostly complement jobs, not replace them.
And how do they plan to make that happen?
Several things. Prioritizing AI skills in education and job training, possibly making employer-funded AI training tax-free so companies invest more in their people, and also studying how AI actually impacts jobs, creation, wages, that sort of thing.
So helping people adapt, basically.
Right. Making sure people have the skills for these new, hopefully higher-paying AI-related jobs.
All right, let's move to the second pillar. Build American AI infrastructure. Powering the future. This feels very physical, tangible.
It absolutely is. The goal here is simple. Build the stuff AI needs. That means massive data centers, factories to make the computer chips, and critically, finding and delivering the enormous amounts of energy to run it all.
And that energy part sounds like a huge challenge. The plan mentions U.S. energy capacity hasn't grown much since the 70s.
Yeah, that's a major point they highlight. AI is incredibly power hungry. And the plan notes that while U.S. capacity has stagnated, competitors like China have been rapidly building out their energy grids. So it's seen as a real bottleneck.
So how do they plan to fix that? Just build more power plants?
Well, yes, but also speed up the whole process. The plan calls for streamlining permits for data centers, chip factories, and the energy projects needed to support them, making it faster to get approvals.
And that involves changing environmental rules. I saw mention of NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act.
That's right. Changes to environmental reviews like NEPA are mentioned, and also potentially using federal lands for construction. The motto they use in the plan itself is build, baby, build.
Build, baby, build. Okay.
Yeah, and they frame it as cutting through, quote, radical climate dogma and bureaucratic red tape.
So for you listening, the potential upside is faster AI progress, maybe more jobs. But there are obviously big questions there about environmental impact, resource use. These data centers use a ton of power and water.
Absolutely. It highlights a very clear priority in the planned speed of development over, perhaps, other considerations. It's a trade-off they seem willing to make.
And besides faster building, they also talk about upgrading the electric grid itself.
Yes, that's crucial. Strengthening and expanding the grid to handle the extra demand from AI. That means keeping current power sources reliable, making the grid smarter, and investing in new energy sources too. They mention things like enhanced geothermal and nuclear power.
Makes sense. You need the juice to run the machines.
Exactly. A stable, bigger grid is fundamental for everything from your lights at home to these huge AI systems.
Okay, and then chips, semiconductor manufacturing, bringing that back to the U.S.
Yes, a big focus on reshoring chip manufacturing, making those essential AI brains on U.S. soil again.
Why is that so important?
Several reasons given. High-paying jobs, obviously, strengthening U.S. tech leadership, and importantly, making the supply chain less vulnerable to disruptions overseas. They also want to use AI in the chip-making process itself, reviewing grants to push that forward.
And you need people to build and run all this infrastructure.
You do. So the plan emphasizes training that workforce. Electricians, specialized technicians for cooling systems in data centers, other well-paying trades.
How?
Things like creating national skill standards, supporting industry training programs, getting students exposed earlier through education and apprenticeships, making sure we have the skilled people needed.
So real job opportunities tied directly to this AI push.
That's the idea. Tangible jobs expected to grow with the industry.
Okay, let's tackle the third and final pillar. Lead in international AI diplomacy and security. Global competition. This sounds like where the AI race really plays out on the world stage.
It is. This pillar is all about making sure American AI leads globally, setting the standards, protecting it from rivals, and getting it into the hands of allies, securing that top spot.
So exporting American AI tech, hardware, software, everything.
Pretty much. The plan talks about exporting the full-stack chips, models, software applications to allies and partners around the globe.
And the reason is?
Two main drivers mentioned. First, meet the huge global demand. Second, and this is key, prevent those countries from buying AI from rivals, especially China.
Ah, so it helps U.S. tech companies and counters China's influence.
Precisely. It directly benefits major American tech firms by opening up markets. And yes, it's framed as actively countering Chinese influence. The plan wants to challenge China in those international groups trying to set AI rules.
Why challenge them there?
The plan argues many current international efforts push for burdensome regulations or promote agendas that don't align with what it defines as American values.
And it specifically mentions checking Chinese AI for bias.
Yes, checking Chinese models for alignment with, quote, their government's talking points and censorship. So it really frames this as a geopolitical contest over technology and the values embedded in it.
Okay. What about protecting U.S. tech? Export controls.
Definitely. Strengthening export controls is a big part, making it harder for adversaries to get their hands on advanced U.S. AI computing power and the equipment needed to make advanced chips.
How would they do that?
They're exploring ways to track where AI chips actually end up physically.
Yeah.
And closing loopholes in current rules, maybe by controlling smaller components, subsystems used in chip manufacturing that might currently be easier to obtain.
In evaluating security risks, what kind of risks are we talking about?
Serious ones. The plan calls for assessing advanced AI for its potential in cyber attacks. And concerningly, its ability to help develop CBRNE weapons, that's chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, or explosive weapons.
Wow.
Yeah. Also looking for vulnerabilities or backdoors in adversary AI systems that can be used against the U.S. economy or infrastructure.
And finally, biosecurity. AI in biology sounds amazing, but risky too.
Exactly. Huge potential for good, like finding disease cures. But the plan warns bad actors could misuse it to create dangerous biological agents.
So what's the plan propose?
Stricter rules for labs getting federal funding. They'd need to use tools for gene synthesis, for example, that screen orders for potential misuse and share data to spot suspicious activity. It shows that tightrope walk between enabling progress and managing serious risks.
Okay, let's try to pull this all together. We've covered a lot. This America's AI Action Plan. It clearly prioritizes speeding up AI development, maybe more than putting strict safety rules in place first, compared to the previous approach.
That's a fair summary. This progress is king approach, as you called it earlier, promises faster innovation, economic benefits. But for you, the listener, it does raise questions about oversight, accountability. Who manages the risks when things move this quickly?
And groups are already pushing back.
Yeah, the summary mentions groups like the People's AI Action Plan, arguing this puts corporate interests maybe too far ahead of public safety concerns. It's a debate that's definitely happening.
And that whole bias issue, aiming for unbiased AI, it just seems incredibly complicated. Who gets to decide what's neutral?
It is incredibly complicated, maybe one of the thorniest issues in AI ethics, because AI learns from human information, and human information reflects a huge diversity of values and, yes, biases. Achieving perfect neutrality might not even be possible. It forces really hard choices about what values you do embed in these systems.
Yeah, a conversation we definitely need to keep having.
Agreed. Transparency about those choices is key.
And lastly, the energy and environment piece. The huge power demands, the build, baby, build approach. It really highlights a major tension, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The tension between wanting rapid tech advancement and needing to consider environmental sustainability, resource use, the impact on local communities where these huge data centers go up, that balance is going to be a massive ongoing discussion.
So to recap, we've dug into America's AI Action Plan, Pillar 1. Speed up innovation, deal with bias, help workers adapt. Pillar 2. Build the infrastructure, data centers, chips, power grids fast. Pillar 3. Lead globally, export U.S. AI, counter rivals, manage security risks. It's definitely a comprehensive roadmap.
The message is clear. The plan states right in the text, the AI race is America's to win.
So as this new frontier of scientific discovery, as they call it, keeps unfolding, what do you think winning the AI race really means for everyday people, beyond the economy or national security? And maybe more intriguingly, what's the next big, unexpected challenge this incredibly powerful technology might throw our way that we haven't even thought of yet?